Hi, I'm Laura. Welcome to Lullubee. Today we're going to make a needle felted gnome doll. We start out with our wool, our sponge felting surface, and our needles. We have some sewing thread and we have some stuffing. The stuffing and the thread are for making your base shape. So our gnome base shape is like a long oval, and so you take your thread and you bind the stuffing into the shape that you want. And this is the shape that we start with. Binding a shape from stuffing saves you a little bit of money in wool, and that's why I do it this way. So the base of the gnome should be all one color, so let's make it brown. Now you can start out with your medium needle and you can start felting the brown all over the shape. But it'll be a lot faster if you use your handle with 4 needles. And that's why we have handles with needles, to speed up the process. So we cover the whole shape and felt it firmly. Now one thing that I do a lot is to save myself time, I'll cover the shape with the wool and then I will run it under warm to hot water. I'll wring out all the water and then I'll throw it in my dryer, and I'll let the dryer actually felt the piece, and this saves me a lot of time and I can do a lot of pieces at once. So if I'm going to felt this whole base shape, it might take me 10-15 minutes. If I do a lot of pieces in the dryer, I can do in a half an hour, I can do 10 to 15 pieces all at once. So once your base shape is felted, it'll look like this. This has been in the dryer, so it's very smooth. If you don't want to put your piece in the dryer and it's still a little fuzzy, you just roll it in your hands like this, and that will help smooth it out. Now the gnome has brown pants and he has a blue shirt, so about halfway through, right in the center of the space, we felt on his shirt. If you want to smooth out your color, instead of felting down, which will make your piece smaller, you can smooth it by using your felting needles and skimming them across the top at an angle. And that will help to smooth it, but not necessarily change the size of the piece. Okay. Pull off a small piece of skin tone and put that on the front of the gnome, and with a single needle, because it's a small area, felt on the face. Now again, right here, I want to smooth the face, so I'm felting sideways at an angle. Okay, now to give the gnome a little nose, always pull the wool apart, don't cut it. Roll up a little oval until you have a piece that looks like this. Felt it a little so the ouch wool stays together. Now put this on his face. Okay, now the gnome has a red hat, so pull off a small piece of red and start covering his head like this. Now to make the pointy top of the hat, start with a piece on the head, and then you keep wrapping it to a point. And you might have to add a couple of pieces of red to get it as long as you want it to be. So you can build upon the shape. Wrap it. Okay. Now to smooth out your gnome, you'll take your hands and you'll roll the whole gnome actually between your fingers just to help smooth it. Get his nose back up there. Okay, now the gnome has white curly hair. So take some of the Cotswold curly pieces that come in your kit, and with a single needle, start applying his beard. This is the fun part, and his hair. The hair will go around his head. I put the curliest pieces in the front for his beard. Okay, so here's your little gnome, and the last bit that we need to do is put on his eyes. And for the eyes, you just pull a tiniest little piece of black wool and roll it between your fingers into a tiny ball, and just put it right there. Sometimes I like to sew on little black seed beads for eyes. That works nicely too. And there you go. There you've got your little gnome. They make great little toys. They're also really nice for Christmas tree ornaments. So